What's up, YouTube? How's everybody out there doing today? So obviously you guys have seen the 800 plus horsepower ZL1 on the dyno, all the cool power that it made, all the freaking torque that it made. Well, you know what time it is, right? It's time to tear it back apart again. So as you guys can see, we are, man, that light is bright. We are putting a clutch in this car. We already got the transmission out. And it's pretty simple to pull one of these transmissions out. These really ain't that difficult to do. We'll probably do the speed up install version of it, but we just wanted to get it out, you know, that way we can get to the clutch. But you have a few lines you disconnect, which are right here. You have your clutch line that you need to disconnect. On the other side of the transmission is another little line that needs to be disconnected. The other thing is you have your shifter, which is pretty simple. It has fittings kind of like this. You take one fitting out, pop the tube, retainer tube or whatever they call it out, and then that comes out. And then the last thing you have, which actually goes into this part and this part on the other side here, is your wishbone, which I'll show you what that looks like here. That has these really cool clamps. Where's them clamps at? There we go. It has these little clampy thingies, little, what do they call these things? I don't even know. Pins, clamp pins. It's like a pin with a clamp, and it folds down on top of the transmission to lock it in place. Pretty simple setup. It's not really hard to tear one of them things out. But as you see, we you know, got the exhaust off, we got the drive shaft off, all that stuff. And now, since the transmission's out, we're gonna have good old Max here. Max.
You wanna get hit?
When you get hit?
You wanna get hit?
When you get hit?
Andy's so short, I'm literally like hitting my head against everything. He has like 10 inches of clearance.
That's because I'm awesome. Now keep in mind, guys, this car, we were making 800.
Oh, use the electric gun.
Shut up. 822 horsepower at the wheels through this stock ZL1 clutch, and I think the clutch has like 6,000 miles on it, and that's about it.
I'll wait.
No, go ahead, man. I'll talk in between your working. Now, 822 horsepower, and I know, you know, I like to use wheel horsepower, not crank, is about 950 crank horsepower. So, technically this clutch was holding 950 horsepower through that clutch. That's what it was holding. So that's pretty impressive for a stock clutch. So let's take a look at it.
Oh, dude, that thing has me. A little bit.
Oh wow, check that out.
Oh.
So here's the stock clutch, 900 horsepower.
It was slipping a little bit.
It was definitely getting some hot spots though. Definitely getting some hot spots in her. Wow. The nice thing is we have a brand new clutch for this vehicle. Let's take a look at this flywheel here. This is a dual mass flywheel, which I don't like dual mass flywheels. They're the worst flywheel ever designed, and what they're designed for is comfort, basically. It's just a little bit easier on, you know, the drive line when there's a little bit of movement here, basically, and that energy that's being transported through, you know, from the engine to the transmission has a little bit of play, as opposed to just a solid flywheel to a solid, you know, clutch setup. So that's why they do that. We're gonna go ahead and open up the new clutch box and see what we got in there. All right, guys, let's take a look at what clutch this car is getting. It is a Center Force DYAD dual clutch setup. This thing is pretty badass. We're gonna open her up. We actually already did open her up, but just to inspect everything. But let's take her apart, see what she looks like. Max, can we have some help here, please?
I guess so. You got it stuck now.
So we have our pressure plate, then we have our first disc, which is pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about this first disc here, doesn't use a hub like a traditional dual disc. It uses some sort of pin system, as you guys can see, to hold the secondary disc in place. I would prefer a hub setup, honestly. Go ahead, Max, let's take that off. It does have a vented middle plate, which I do like. I think that's a great idea that it actually has the vents in there to keep everything cool. That's pretty cool. And then we have our secondary disc right here, which looks like a unsprung disc. No, I'm sorry, it isn't sprung disc. You guys can kind of see the springs sitting inside of there. The first disc is unsprung. And then we have our flywheel, which, if I remember correctly, this is no, it's a steel flywheel. It's not an aluminum. It is steel, but it is actually lighter than a normal flywheel. As you can see, there's a lot of venting open spots in it that cuts down on weight. All right, guys, we got our flywheel bolted up, torque to spec. We're gonna go ahead and, oh, one other thing. There are these little spacers here. Do not forget to put these on. You will need them. They go over all the bolts, all the studs. So now we're gonna go ahead and put our first disc in place. You just let it sit there. Yep, you got it. And then we're gonna put our vented center plate in. And then all we got left is our secondary disc that needs to go in then as well. It just goes blind. I had a second. And then we have our secondary plate on. Now we're gonna get our pressure plate. And we're gonna attach it with 2 nuts just to hold it in place, and then we're gonna end up Loctiting those as well, and then torquing them down to spec as well. All right, guys, back to business here. 38 foot-pounds.
38 foot-pounds.
And we're gonna be doing a cross back and forth to torque this this thing down. Got the transmission. Max is now tightening down the bell housing bolts. These are kind of a bitch to get in. Basically what you got to do is turn them sideways a little bit, shove them in, and then straighten them back up again. But you can do it without doing too much of aggravating work to make it get in there. But yeah, she's in there now. So we're going to continue tightening her up. We're going to get the shifter hooked up. We're going to get the drive shaft in, the under heat shielding, the exhaust, all that stuff. And then she's going to be good to go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
You motherfucker. Alright guys, as you just saw, the transmission's back in, the drive shaft's back in, the exhaust, all that stuff, we got that all back into the car. Now, there's a few little pieces that this customer actually decided to add, and you kind of can and can't see them. But one of them is a I would guess, non-reservoir brake master cylinder bottle. So basically what that is the brake master cylinder bottle is now independent of the clutch master cylinder reservoir bottle. And down here you can see that we did an aftermarket separate clutch reservoir bottle And like I said, the aftermarket, you know, reservoir bottle for the master cylinder. This product here and this product is all from Gentek Performance. You guys can find them online. We do also have a speed bleeder in here as well. So that's kind of tucked away. We're done bleeding the system, and that's all tucked away to make it look nice and neat. The other thing is, if you look down there, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the new clutch slave cylinder line goes up to the master, and that's all steel braided line as well. So we're pretty much, literally after so many months of working on this car, we are now finally done and completed with it. Only thing I think we got left to do, which we're going to do in the next day or so here, is what? Wire in the line lock. The line lock is in.
Wire's already in the freaking...
Is it in? Okay, well, the line lock's already in. We have the steel braided brake lines on this vehicle as well. Everything is bled. The clutch is bled. The brakes are bled. This has been one of them very long coming projects, and I'm very happy that it's finally done. I'm sure Max is probably very happy that it's finally done as well. So we're probably gonna have this car for another couple days, and then she is off. Well, other than that, guys, this is pretty much gonna end the video for this particular car. We got a lot of other vehicles to move on to, including this beautiful twin turbo C7 Z06 that we're building, which you know what, I'll give you guys a little sneak. It has 3 alternators. We'll give you a little sneak peek here if you guys are ready. You might have seen this on my Instagram, but I'll have that information in the description below for the Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But yeah, guys, this here is the twin turbo C7 Z06. It is a Pro Charger intake manifold. We got another top plate made with our logo on it. We aren't taking credit for the intake manifold. We're just doing the plate to, you know, for us ourselves. But you guys can see, I mean, these headers are pretty wild. They're pretty wicked. The turbos are pretty wicked. These are 6182R turbos, so these things should make a shit ton of power. As for this guy right here, we are all done. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, guys. Instagram is Diablo Formula Racing. Facebook, Diablo Formula Racing. Snapchat, Diablo Formula. Deuces, guys.